there's been a lot of fun made about China as a region, right? On the international stage, I'm pretty sure you've had to endure a couple of cheeky comments by some people. Do you think, judging from what we've seen here in this current meta from these games already, do you think China is about to make a step forward, or do you think they're still gonna, struggle against other teams, especially Korean ones, at the Eastern Clash?
They're going to struggle. I think if there's going to be, I think Eastern Clash should be if the way all the teams are playing now continues, then Korea is going to absolutely stomp China. I think if they continue to play like they are, then they can continue improving. Then I think we might have a chance to make it out of the groups at BlizzCon. But I feel that's the long-term goal here, because right now the way they're playing and at the rate of improvement we've been seeing over these 3 days, obviously next week will be a better showing, but at that rate I don't feel China has much of a chance at Eastern Clash.
And which of the teams do you think is going to or is looking the strongest right now? Is there even a clear favorite, or do you think it's all like too chaotic? It's all too
Not really. They all make so many mistakes throughout these days that I don't feel comfortable saying any of them look the best.
And you know
in terms
what?
of consistency, probably BTG.
I've been one of the most ardent defenders of the Chinese teams, but even I can't do it. I can't do it any longer. I really think that China needs to step it up, especially I would say the weakest point that many Chinese teams seem to have right now is variety and adjusting to what other teams do. To me, it seems like they're always, following certain patterns. They follow certain heroes that worked in the past. But when someone is, defying the odds, which we have seen multiple times today already with a Nova, with a Zagara, or just a Sergeant Hammer, they all of a sudden look super overwhelmed and super helpless.
I will say, though, that the last time that China was a really good region with E-Star, etc., that was the time that they actually were taking risks.
Yeah.
That was the time where we'd see the Novas. That was the time where we'd see these strange heroes, where they'd actually stray out of the meta every now and again and experiment. They've been doing it in this season. We see the Zagara returning. They've tested that. The Hammer, it was very successful. The Nova, very successful. The Ana, less successful. But they've at least been trying.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't agree more. And I really hope we're going to see more of that. And even the Artanis, quite frankly, did work Olele for the A-team. It was not at all his fault that his team couldn't achieve victory. It was more like a failed... Oof. Wait a minute. We see Tassadar with the Tracer locked in already. RPG is taking a page of CE's book here. But the year is 2018, and we haven't seen a lot of Tassadar succeed in China. In Europe, with the Sergeant Hammer, that is a totally different story. Team Liquid pulled off a spectacular win against the Monkeys last weekend.
That I very agree with. But Tastrace is still good. Simple as that. Extra protection, extra sustain throughout all of these fights. Extra vision especially can be absolutely marvelous. So seeing those is still pretty fine.
All right. Let's see what we can do here. We have Karazim banned out now. That is kind of interesting.
And Hammer being removed as well. Very sensible here. The Hammer, it can be a nice way to sneak out victories every now and again. So RPG choosing to avoid that as best they can.
I like it. So the thing is, normally Karazim might be worth considering if you play against the Tracer. So since they already picked the Malfurion and they clearly don't want to go double support again, which they have done in the past with Karazim. Melody C, however, not receiving big success there. I can see, just ban it out. Don't think it's the best ban they could have gone for necessarily. Maybe the Deckard, for example, could have been a little nicer, but it's certainly not the worst one either.
But now, what are we going to see with that? Phoenix, Diablo's open. There's so many slows. The Thrall, for example, Jane is still open. You can just go for that consistent comp that we've seen so many times, just any combination. Not going for the Thrall, choosing Global instead with the Dahaka coming in.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't hate it. I think we've seen multiple times today why Dahaka, especially if a monster like Soap is on that hero, feels so impactful. And I can already see how these isolations, for example, can really mess with someone like Tassadar. If you land it on him or on that Falstad, the rest of your team should have an easy time blowing those people up.
And we need a main healer now with Falstad on the board. We're looking at, with Karazim banned, we're looking at maybe a Stukov. If you want someone with a cleanse, then we're heading towards Uther or perhaps even a Rhaegar.
Trying to remember what RPGs MJ played a lot. He played a lot of Uther. He played a lot of Alexstrasza. I don't think I would hate the Uther here, to be honest. You know, Uther is always one of those supports that can deal with Dahaka engages, you know, from the bush quite nicely. Just like Stukov, though. You know what? I'm kind of starting to dig this. I think they combine two protective styles now very nicely. The burst protection from the shields of Tassadar, the sustained healing from Stukov. And that should normally be enough to keep the Tracer safe and sound. I'm a little bit worried about the Falstad. I'm not sure if I'm feeling it, Tetcher.
I like the ability to disengage. That's something they might actually need, because I do believe this is going to be a Gust, no more Hinterland Blast this time, because there aren't really that many targets other than, I guess, Malfurion, and a little bit of Phoenix, but Phoenix can actually dodge it if he's quick enough because of the wind-up. I'm okay with the Falstad. I think the global potential is nice. It's nice to have something to match Dahaka, and they didn't really have many options.
I think we should definitely see the Mighty Gust, though. I know we saw a Hinterlands Blast before, but I think against their team combination that SPT has, you know, with so much engage from the Diablo, from the Dahaka, and maybe even Falstad Gust as a tool to interrupt the Phoenix salvo, that could certainly really help them out. And look at that, SPT is back with the Li Ming. That's, I think, the second or third Li Ming pack that we had today.
I think so. It's a popular hero. Finally, we're starting to move at least a little bit away from Jaina and bringing out some other mages. So Li Ming to finish up here. Very burst heavy once again by SPT.
Yeah, we have yet to wait for the first Chromie and Gul'dan, though. We saw Kel'Thas once or twice. I don't recall, but...
Once it lost.
Once it lost. Yeah, there we go. But the Chromie and the Gul'dan have been absolutely absent up to this point. And I wonder when one of the teams is going to pick it up eventually, especially on maps like Tomb of Spider Queen. Braxis, of course, not really being played a lot. Neither is Tomb, and I think those are probably... neither is Towers of Doom. And those two, I think, are easily the most favorable maps next to Volskaya Foundry, maybe, for the Chromie. That one is also deactivated, so we can't really blame the teams for not picking a lot of the Gnome, but maybe next week, you know, when some maps are back in action and the patch hits as well.
Yeah, these are... Yeah, I think that's when we will hopefully start seeing teams adjust. Once again, we're a couple patches back, ladies and gentlemen. This is pre-Yarel being allowed. It will be allowed next week. And this is pre a lot of hero reworks like the Rhaegar, as we already mentioned. But now, though, let us head into the first game of our final series. It is going to be RPG versus SPT. First place versus last place.
Absolutely true. And who's going to reign supreme, the underdog or the top dog? We're going to find out in a bit here with RPG represented by Chicken on that Tracer. We've got MJ on the Stukov, Saz playing Falstad, his dwarven brother Murden's being played by C, and Wrong on the Tassadar this time around.
And on the right-hand side, it is going to be Super Perfect Team with Lucky on the Phoenix, Melody C on Li Ming, Misaka on Diablo, Soap on Dahaka, and ZZH is playing Malfurion.
All right, watch out for the Soap, because he has been absolutely tearing things apart on that Dahaka earlier. Can't wait to see what he's going to bring to the table this time. Lucky is having a standoff here with Chicken, who, despite the shielding and healing of Stukov and Tassadar, was not able to penetrate the defenses of Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix able to trade out his shield instead of health, which is a big advantage of the hero in this laning phase. And Dahaka getting caught in the Stukov size. Tracer actually goes deep, looking for the potential for the kill. There's a stun by Muradin. So, tanking through thanks to the help of ZZH on Dahaka. On Malfurion, sorry, he's Dahaka.
Yeah, and I think, ooh, nice magic missiles there coming in over at Chicken, bringing him down to 15% health. And I think Soap at this point, he's had enough. He's burrow charging over to the top lane immediately, where he finds his global buddy Falstad. Chicken continues to be a little cheeky here, but needs to clear off the minions so you won't fall behind in experience.
Wrong clearing out the minions as quick as he can, as well as Sa eats a lot of hits and trades very inefficiently, as Lucky only lost shield. Finally going to lose a tiny bit of health due to minions attacking him, but he immediately picks up a globe and heals that back.
Tetra, what was your main raise in StarCraft 2, or what is your main raise in StarCraft 2, I should say?
I had random, but I prioritized Protoss when it mattered.
There we go. Hey, so we might not be on the same page when it comes to Alliance and Horde, but we're definitely a Protoss click.
Hurrah.
Hurrah.
Hurrah, hurrah.
Who's your favorite Protoss?
Karax.
The Smith?
The Phase Smith, yes.
I like it. I like it. He's a cool,
awesome.
Above cool
and beyond.
Dude.
He's a very cool dude. I can't wait. I hope he comes into Heroes of the Storm. As we see Chicken burning through the minion wave. Quite slow, because, well, he's Tracer. He's doing his best. Bless him.
All right. Siege Giants battle each other out here as SPT maintains control over both shrines. And Chicken, he was just getting absolutely demolished. And he actually gets taken out as well. Misaka was just waiting for Chicken to, you know, place himself in front of that little flower pot. And you just, man, I really have to say, more Assassin players in China need to be aware of their positioning when playing against Diablo. We saw that in the last game when Jui just got caught by Uncle G on the Diablo over and over again. ZZH actually going for an unusual move. The support now hopping inside the Dragon Knight pilot seat. That's something you normally don't want to do because your team is lacking sustain otherwise. But with that early Dragon Knight probably not going to get much done anyways, I think it's acceptable.
Yeah, it should be fine at this stage. You're not in too much trouble. And, well, the fact is, as long as you don't overextend, you can get away with it without any issues. And they're not getting in too much trouble. Instead, they are the ones in full control. With Tracer grabbing the untouchable, though, this is where they can be punished. But, again, what are you going to punish? Right now, Tracer's not in any of the lanes she could be getting untouchable stacks, instead trying to burn down the Dragon Knight.
That's true. I think SPT right now is running away with the game. You can already see an almost one-level lead after 3 minutes and 20. The Dragon Knight hasn't even been destroyed. The Siege Giants on the red side are still untouched. And I think if CZH really wanted to commit to it, he could probably take down the fort. And that he does now with a Flame Breath. That is even more experience now. Bank account of SPT. Melody C needs to be careful in the Li Ming. Looks like the middle lane had also been destroyed. That's what the observer was trying to tell us there. Boom goes the Muradin. Another kill for Misaka.
Nicely done indeed. Picking up yet another kill here. And with one fort already down, the mid fort completely exposed thanks to that Dragon Knight, we're seeing RPG resorting to mercenaries as fast as possible.
Yeah, which is a really smart call. I mean, they just destroyed the bottom lane, so why don't they just want to use this advantage even further and force the rotations of RPG back even more? Because when you force someone to deal with a mercenary camp that has just, you know, in the lane that had just been gotten rid of his of the fort, then you get more time to do other things, like doing the bruises up top, pushing maybe even the top lane. That's actually something I would recommend SPT do now. Just let the mercenaries push in the bottom and then focus some attention in the top lane, which I think they're actually going to do here. Phoenix and Dahaka just waiting for the Tracer.
Trying to set the trap. Tracer arrives. Soap trying to bait in. Lucky immediately begins to slow, but Tassadar's here, as is MJ. It shouldn't be too hard, shouldn't be too bad, unless somehow Dahaka landed the tongue through all of that chaos. But he is still going to get out alive, thanks to the burrow.
Easy dodge there, and actually the opposite of what I suspected, you know, happens now. It is actually SPT pushing and committing all the way through, and I think this is a big mistake by RPG. You cannot let your secondary defense line fall just like this. Look at how much DPS it took and how much experience it is going to give to ASPT. I mean, the bottom lane on Dragonshire traditionally is the most important lane in the first place, right? So for RPG to just let it fall like that is highly questionable.
Yeah, this could be very problematic that is now open. Diablo also finished on the soul, so he's now even harder to kill, as level 10 is acquired for SPT. Diablo moving forward, see though, acting like a ward, able to tank through this one.
All right, at least the Siege Giant on the left-hand side go over to RPG. By the way, Untouchable was picked for Chicken on that Tracer, so he's going full risk mode. Now he just needs the kills. Just the takedowns is what's still left to be collected.
And then, well, he needs the takedowns and to not die, as this is in fact a die and lose stacks talent. Very few of them left in the game at this point.
Right, the top shrine was captured by RPG again, but for how long can they hold it? It looks like SPT is actually content and happy with, relieving the pressure of the top lane, because Melody C, look at that, guiding and escorting the Siege Giants so that they will deal additional damage on the already vulnerable bottom tower line. Now Chicken is just being toyed with, just being flung by Misaka. Lucky stays out of harm's way. Here goes the roots, here goes the wave of force, and are they going to kill on Merton? Yes, they do.
The Purification Salve was also pretty good. Chicken drops low and an isolation from above. Melody C picks up a reset, looking for Falstad as well, but Falstad with a clutch barrel roll to escape.
And that's exactly how you do it, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you're supposed to play the Li Ming. It actually surprised me a little bit that they don't go straight for the bottom keep. It looks like they're going to take this free experience. They're going to open this map even further. So a cute little move here by Soap and the Dragon Knight. Also making sure that he destroys the fountain. Probably trying to buy a little bit of time now while his remaining team members are already hammering down the remaining tower.
And that tower will fall easily, and the keep is going to be pressured. Tracer, hovering around the side, decides not to wrap around against the Diablo, and instead it comes in to the defensive position as they begin burning down Dahaka. Dahaka choosing not to go for the keep with his team, as his team have already pulled to the mid lane.
Rotation is pretty clean. Dahaka's going to keep the enemy team still a little bit occupied, and SPT, man, they're just playing this slowly and methodical. Dragonshire is one of their best maps, if not the best map in their arsenal for a reason. They know exactly how to move here, how to outplay their opponents with rotations and good macro sense, something that we cannot say all the Chinese teams have. So definitely kudos to them. Look at the Dahaka still pressuring the bottom lane, and slowly but surely RPG is running out of structures to defend.
Yeah, they're really struggling, and this is going to be problematic. Falstad's flying down to the bot lane to try and defend against Dahaka. Top lane is still fine, though. Even though it got clear, even though the push just happened for SPT, it still only really got through the front wall. The fort itself survives, which does mean that RPG can sort of leave that lane a little bit less attended and focus on the lanes that are pushed up.
The thing is, for RPG right now, I mean, SPT, they're playing this super smart, right? They know exactly what to do. They're patiently waiting for their advantages to come in, like that 13 talent advantage, for example. But what I'm really lacking here, what I really think is lacking for RPG is like them showing any form of initiative. It almost seems to me like they're just patiently playing it down, you know, just waiting for the 13 to hit. But by the time they're going to get 13, I think SPT is going to be very close to 16. They're not really showing any initiative to maybe invade a mercenary camp, to maybe try to catch someone off guard. All they do is just run with SPT, trying to minimize their losses. And here, actually on the flip side, Murden is getting caught out, but he survives for now.
Yeah, good looking arm by Stukov from over the wall there, potentially saving C, giving him the chance to escape. Very nicely done by C. Now then, full defense. Chicken takes a couple hits, but he's tanking through, at least for the moment, as Misaka awaits his moment like a puma ready to pounce. C comes in, and there's the pounce onto Tracer, but it's still going to be Phoenix who gets taken out as Tracer just recalls.
And that's exactly the kind of move I wanted to see by RPG. Taking the initiative, trying to lock someone down. Soap was actually a little too late there. The Twilight Dream trying to peel for Dahaka, who's on the run. Tracer, very careful. You got one stack, buddy. You don't want to lose it already again. The Tacitor shields are going to be fine here. By the way, going for the Leeching Plasma. Wait a minute. Misaka going for a cheeky overthrow and almost fully commits to the chicken kill.
But it is not enough. Chicken survives, takes a tower shot, but he does survive. And this is good for RPG. They're actually holding themselves together for the moment. There's still a talent down. They need some XP from somewhere. Falstad's going to go get some. There's some in the bot lane he just found. However, C, a little bit of danger, but once again, he's Muradin. He's tanking through it.
Now, what can RPG do with this? They're about to hit 13. This is their best chance of looking for a fight on even terms, right? They even did get a good fight while being a talent down. The question is, can they do it again? All of their rogue abilities are off cooldown, with the exception of Archon. Both shrines under control of SPT, however. Murden lurking in the bush, gets discovered by Li Ming immediately, though. Is she going to fall? Yes, she is.
And RPG is starting to execute their kills over and over. So another leeching rounds coming in from Chicken, by the way, giving himself maximum sustain, along with leeching plasma from Tassadog.
Yeah.
Can you say overkill? Because I can. I just did. Lucky teleports away.
Okay, the focus is on Chicken. He should still have his recall. There goes a 3-man wave here by Lucky. But the Salvo not doing a whole lot.
Into it. There's the shield. You can see the leeching rounds coming in, keeping Chicken a little bit sustained. Actually, he's still taking a lot of damage. Dragonite picked up by Malfurion, and Saar goes for a ride.
Okay, so it is once again Tetris ZZH who ends up getting and hopping into the Dragon Knight. Once again, not ideal. Normally it shouldn't be the support, because if your allies are low, they need that healing to maintain the push here. Unlike the Protector and Volscan Foundries, though, you cannot switch the pilot. So they're going to have to deal with it and make the best out of the situation. I didn't even notice, Tetra, that this bottom keep had dropped to 25% already.
Neither had I. Minion powers. That's why, and some mercenary caps. That's why Falstad flew down to bot lane, I guess, so quickly. And down goes that keep. Malfurion, though, he is the one in the Dragonite, so they are having to pull back ASAP to make sure that they do not get caught out of position and lose their support super quickly.
Yeah, so not connecting the tongue here, but... well, I wouldn't say that this is game over by any means now for RPG. It's not really looking that great. Look at Murden, the double wall slam, and down is the Dwarf. This could be a disaster for SPT. Let's see, sorry, for RPG. Let's see what they're going to do with this. Quick and sudden and unexpected kill, though.
Yeah, nice job by SPT keeping themselves in a solid position, in a solid lead here as they push forward, looking for Saar as well. He even gets cleansed. The Gust has to be used. Misaka, he's not done, but he gets demounted once again. Nice job by MJ.
Yeah, that Stukov by MJ is saving people's life here. Wonderfully done. I think that's the 3rd or 4th time he's been doing those golden lurking arms. Really helping his buddy out. Otherwise, Diablo, I think Misaka would have been just in range to deliver the killing blow with the Shadow Charge. But look at that, SPT. They're not letting go. They're trying to keep up the pressure. Misaka trying to intercept and interrupt the rotations. How brave is RPG to defend this? 15 to 17. They still need the 16 talent.
The question is, where are they going to get it? As they currently, the lanes have managed to push up against SPT, except for this bottom lane. The top lane's a little bit pushed up against them, but the fact is that's where SPT are. So, nice drag by Soap onto Chicken, who just recalls back. But yeah, the minions, where are they going to find them? Because they can't get near any of them.
Yeah. SPT, that is actually the sign of a really good team, right? Not only do you get a lead for yourself, which is already amazing, but you also try to deny as much soak as possible from the enemy team by posturing up aggressively. Now let's see, the mercenary camp, the bruiser camp in the bottom lane is currently being tackled by RPG, but here comes the Diablo. Dehaka's already there. Can he buy enough time?
Can he indeed? Soap's dropping low, doesn't burrow in time. The isolation is on, sorry, the Twilight Dream is on Falstad. Here comes the salvo, huge damage. MJ gets taken out immediately. Chicken has managed to pull back and survive here, but everyone else is going down. 1 kill. 2 kills. Chicken blinks away, does not become the 3rd of Melody C.
He almost had it. Melody C. Cool, guys. Don't look at explosions. That was so calm and collected and so expected as well. Unfortunately, Tracer was one of the more elusive targets. Otherwise, that could have been almost the full team wipe. But SPT in control after Soap died so early on the dock. I wasn't really sure if that was the right angle for them to engage, but he died the noble cause. He gave in with that tactical feed, and look at that. I also want to highlight Lucky. Look at that damage that he's dishing out with those long-range AoE splash attacks. Boom!
Yeah, and that is a huge amount as well due to Misaka picking up a perfect 5-man lightning breath. Now down goes Wrong, and just out of range, Tracer able to survive. Now it's a Dragon Knight, 5-man on the way. Dehaka's a little bit out, but he will have Brush Stalker shortly. If not, he's got some bushes to run through to speed up his progress. Now, the question is this an end game? It's still 5v5, or are they just going to try and pressure keep, or even just look for more kills as Tracer being forced to recall?
Yeah, the Dragon Knight took a little bit of damage there, and up to this point, SPT is rather reluctant to fully commit to this core call. Are they toying with their food, or are they playing this smart, patiently, and well thought through? Gonna find out in a bit. Keep in mind, the main initiator, the main engager is Diablo, and he's piloting the Dragon Knight once again. Muradin in trouble. Muradin blinded and silenced. The shield, though, keeping him safe for now.
Salvo got interrupted. It's back off cooldown. I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but the fact is it's off cooldown. Everyone is still alive for both sides, as Diablo, with that very low Dragon Knight, is going to take a couple hits onto Core, trying to bait people forward so they can try and kill them once he pops out.
And you know what? I don't like this slow and methodical play here, but level 20 is online right now. We have the Hellgate Blink coming in for Misaka on the Diablo. We have the Repulsion again, this time fortunately not on Towers of Doom. And we have the Contagion spread for the isolation on Dehaka. And I think with those Storm tier talents they're trying to reinitiate is RPG. Oh, that was a good Hellgate initiation, but the Gust removed most of the efficiency.
Gust too good. Clutch save there. Really nicely done. As we see the pressure beginning to pile on. Everyone moving forward. Lucky. He wants his opportunity to try and move in. In comes Misaka this time. You can't Gust if it's on cooldown and you're the one being CC'd. The Salvo, though, doesn't get too much work done.
Yeah, the Salvo just for good measure. They definitely wanted to make sure that they get this kill. Tracer with the Pulse Bomb trying to keep the enemy forces at bay. Look at that. Stukov immediately interrupted the Lurking Arm, getting nothing because of Melody C's lightning speed reflexes down the Repulsion. Keep in mind, though, ZZH is in trouble. The Tassler Storms is still there. Tracer right next to the Malfurion, but she can get the kill.
Chicken, he's healing up, leeching rounds, keeping him sustained, but he runs into the wall corner, survives leeching rounds and leeching plasma. He's healing up. Misaka's low, Misaka's gone. Soap is low, he tunnels, he gets interrupted. Good kills, and the RPG just got 4 kills.
And all of a sudden, ladies and gentlemen, Tracer just got some juicy, untouchable stacks. That was a chicken show here, right there. Well done, sloppy SPT. They brought the core down to 40%, yes, but they also gave a lot of unnecessary comeback experience over to RPG, who are going to be 20 at any given moment.
Nice lead done. We see that again. Chicken gets one. He's completely unattended. He's dodging so many skill shots, dodges the tongue. Bad positioning here, does get caught, but you can see here, he survives quick shield from Tass, and then with leeching rounds and leeching plasma combined, and the Stukov healing, he is back to full in seconds.
Yeah, I think you basically hit the nail on the head there. So many protective tools, especially his own self-sustain, thanks to the leeching rounds. Why are they not grabbing the Dragonet? Oh, they wanted to swap the pilot there, which makes a lot of sense. Falstad probably the most susceptible target to a Diablo engage. Now in the Dragon Knight, he's going to feel a lot more comfortable. But what can RPG do with this Dragon Knight? It's been, past level 20, so the scaling is pretty nice on that guy. But all the forts and the towers even are still standing tethered. That's how one-sided the game has been going up to this point in favor of SPT.
RPG have so much left to push through to have any chance of being able to take this. But this is their chance to do it. They begin moving forward as the Dragon Knight is eating shots. Still a little bit of health left. It is Falstad in this, remember. He has Gust off cooldown, I believe. So once this Dragon Knight ends, he will have a disengage tool. So we can afford to go at least a little aggressive here.
Yeah, Li Ming with those Fireflies, dealing nice poke actually onto the Dragon Knight, preventing it from, dealing any more damage than necessary. So actually tunneling to the top lane, not to his team allies' aid. So that could be a good tell for RPG. Now, you know what? Dehaka doesn't have his global. Let's try to make something happen right here, right now.
They can certainly try. The question is, will they be able to execute something? With, once again, that Dragon Knight very low. Tiny bit of time left with 10 seconds on the board. Yeah. Extra recall time was the 20 for Tracer, trying to keep herself alive as Dragon Knight is popped. Immediate repulsion. In comes the Gust, and still taken out by the Purification Salvo as Lucky almost caught up in the wind tunnel, still makes behind the wall. A beautiful drag. Soap, that was incredible. Threads the needle. Chicken is trying to stay alive with no task, though. He's missing leeching plasma. It's just leeching rounds. C attempting to be a distraction. Going to give Chicken some time to try and regain some health, but the reset's coming in for Merly C. Repulsion. Arcane Orb is dodged, but into the room he gets the kill. Chicken's alive! He's alive! And he finally goes down to the Moonfire.
All right. 4 takedowns and 1 casualty for SPT. They're lacking the Li Ming, but they might even get the Stukov. No, they actually miss up the CC combo. The tongue is not there yet. The one big arm trying to keep Soap at bay, but they're going to get the Stukov after all, and that should be the nail in the coffin. Melody C is cleaning house Tetcher with that repulsion right at the moment when the Dragon Knight exploded. That was basically the beginning of the end here. That first Falstad kill basically, you know, launched that series of kills for SPT, and they did that so well.
And SPT able to take the 2-0. They get a solid 3 points, and that puts them in a solid first place, 11 points. 3 ahead of BTG and the 1, but they do have a game in hand.
That they do, and that is like the way SPT close it out.